यमुनतीरावनजारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा श्रील गुरुदेवा निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल Together the invocation prayers. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैस्तुकी मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, the status quo, Chapter 20, Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, verses 30 and 31. The verse on the board is 31. Text 30. Anyonya-śleṣayottuṅga nirantara-payodharām su-nāsāṁ sudvijāṁ snigdha hāsa-līlāvalokanām. Word to word meaning. Anyonya, to each other. Śleṣayā, because of clinging. Uttuṅga, raised. Nirantara, without intervening space. Payaḥ-dharām, breast. su-nāsām, shapely nose. sudvijāṁ, beautiful teeth. Snigdha, lovely. Hāsa, smile. Līlā-avalokanām, sportful glance. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Her breasts projected upward because of their clinging to each other, and they were too contiguous to admit any intervening space. She had a shapely nose and beautiful teeth. A lovely smile played on her lips, and she cast a sportful glance at the asuras. Text 31. Gūhantīm vrīḍayātmānaṁ. Gūhantīm vrīḍayātmānaṁ. Gūhantīm vrīḍayātmānaṁ. nīlālaka-varūthinīm. 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 upalabhyāsurā dharma. upalabhyāsurā dharma. upalabhyāsurā dharma. sarve sammumuhuḥ striyam. sarve sammumuhuḥ striyam. sarve sammumuhuḥ striyam. gūhantīm vrīḍayātmānaṁ nīlālaka-varūthinīm. upalabhyāsurā dharma. sarve sammumuhuḥ striyam. upalabhyāsurā dharma sarve sammumuhuḥ striyam vrīḍayātmānaṁ nīlālaka-varūthinīm upalabhyāsurā dharma sarve sammumuhuḥ striyam. gūhantīm vrīḍayātmānaṁ nīlālaka-varūthinīm upalabhyāsurā dharma sarve sammumuhuḥ striyam gūhantīm vrīḍayātmānaṁ nīlālaka-varūthinīm upalabhyāsurā dharma sarve sammumuhuḥ striyam. What's the word meaning? gūhantīm, hiding. vrīḍayā, out of shyness. ātmānaṁ, herself. nīla, dark. alaka, hair. varūthinīm, a bunch. upalabhya, upon imagining. asuraha, the demons. dharma, O Vidura. sarve, all. sammumuhuḥ, were captivated. striyam, women. Translation is supported. Thank you, Prabhu. Translation. Adorned with dark tresses, she hid herself as it were out of shyness. Upon seeing that girl, the asuras were all infatuated with an appetite for sex. Purport. The difference between demons and demigods is that a beautiful woman very easily attracts the minds of demons, but she can't attract the mind of a godly person. A godly person is full of knowledge, and a demoniac person is full of ignorance. Just as a child is attracted by a beautiful doll, similarly, a demon who is less intelligent and full of ignorance is attracted by material beauty and an appetite for sex. The godly person knows that this nicely dressed and ornamented attraction of high breasts, high hips, beautiful nose, and fair complexion is Maya. All the beauty a woman can display is only a combination of flesh and blood. Sri Shankaracharya has advised all persons not to be attracted by the interaction of flesh and blood. They should be attracted by the real beauty in spiritual life. The real beauty is Krishna and Radha. One who is attracted by the beauty of Radha and Krishna can't be attracted by the false beauty of the material world. That's the difference between a demon and a godly person or devotee. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanandamirandasya Jnana-Chalakaya Chachurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Thapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapatantikam. Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Shakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaidam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagan Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarobhya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivāsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam Granth Raj ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Antapuri Vaishnavanda ki Jai. Jai Gaura Premanand. So we are in Canto 3, Chapter 20, Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. And in this chapter, we saw in the verse till 8 that Saunaka Rishi is asking questions. And in 9 to 11, we see Vidura is asking about Brahma's creation. And in 12 to 15, Maitreya is summarizing the primary creation, that is the Sarga. And in 16 to 53, we see the secondary creation being summarized. And particularly in the previous verses, in 23 to 29, we saw the creation of demons. And in this verse 29, including the previous verse, we see, yesterday you would have seen that Brahma's body becomes the evening twilight, and the asuras, they are so passionate. So in this verse 30 and 31, we see that they took it for a beautiful damsel and they got infatuated with an appetite for sex. And the next coming verses in 32 to 37, we will be seeing how the demons describe the twilight girl, and the other creations will be seen later. So here, once again, we'll read the translation. Her breasts projected upward because of their clinging to each other, and they were too contiguous to admit any intervening space. She had a shapely nose, beautiful teeth, lovely smile played on her lips, and she cast a sportful glance at the asuras. Adorned with dark tresses, she hid herself as it were out of shyness. Upon seeing that girl, the asuras were all infatuated with an appetite for sex. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport describes the difference between demons and demigods, how they are. So people who are godly and people who are demoniac, their attitude, their behavior, and the way they go on is all different. And we see the early morning is for spirituality, and evening one becomes passionate, and that's why they have this appetite for sex, because demoniac people are passionate. And we see here, Prabhupada gives a beautiful analogy. Just like a child is attracted by a doll, the demoniac people are attracted by the beauty of the women. So it goes vice versa. Men are attracted to women, women are attracted to the man. And why is it so? Why a godly person is not attracted? Because the godly person is full of knowledge, and the demoniac person is in ignorance. That's why the attraction. Srila Prabhupada in his book Science of Self-Realization gives a beautiful story of the liquid beauty. You all may know about it, but I'd like to explain. Liquid beauty is about a man being attracted to a woman. The man comes to the woman and says, I am attracted to you. The woman says to the man, come after some time. So she gives some time period and tells him to come after that. The woman is intelligent. So what she does is she takes lot of purgatives or laxatives, because this body is flesh and blood. 70% of the body is water. So this is a physical beauty. She wants to show him that. And she drinks a lot of laxatives, and because of that, she vomits and she passes stool. And she collects all that in buckets. All that is collected in buckets. And in course of time, you can know, even for us, if you keep passing stool and vomit, what happens? Within 2-3 days, you become so weak. Your body becomes weak. And she becomes lean, she becomes ugly. Can't see. The man comes back. And when he sees, he's shocked. The woman shows him the buckets and says, "This is my beauty." So the beauty is in flesh and blood. That's a physical beauty, which is temporary. It is not permanent. So what is the lesson from this story we have to learn? Is that the physical beauty is temporary. It's just flesh and blood. And we have to know the importance of detachment. What we should get detached? We should be detached from this material body. We see our priorities are misplaced many a times. We place our priorities to the material body than the spirit soul. So, we should be knowing that this body is temporary and the soul is permanent. The Lord explains the characteristics of soul in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where he speaks in 2.20 verse that the soul is permanent. It's not born. It doesn't die. And we see that the real beauty is being spiritual, eternal, placing it on the soul, self-atma. So we have to have spiritual realization. We have to renounce this material world and material desires. In 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 6th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, this verse is often quoted. Savai pumsam paro dharmo eto bhaktiradokshje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So the highest occupation, paro dharmo, is loving God. And how to love God? We have to love Him without motive. Ahaituki apratihata, without any motive, without any impediments. There are so many processes given. In Bhagavad Gita, you can see Sri Prabhupada discusses all the different processes: karma, jnana, dhyana, bhakti. But how we can understand God? In the 18th chapter, 55th verse, we see the verse, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Through the process of bhakti, we can understand God. You can be anything, poor, rich, what not, young, old. There is no qualification to love God. The Lord says, I am the seed-giving Father. Aham bijah pradah pita. There are 8,400,000 species. The Lord is the seed-giving Father. 14.4 of Bhagavad Gita, 14 chapter 4th verse, Lord says. So He is the Supreme Father for all living entities. What did He expect from you? The Lord is completely renounced. Parashara Muni, when he talks about the qualities of Lord, you see, the Lord is completely renounced. Bhagavan, that's why he is Bhagavan. The father and mother, materially, what do they expect from the child? Today's material father and mother has expectations. That's why Srila Prabhupada says, a real love, a tinge of it can be seen in the mother. A tinge of it, not complete in today. Because love has no expectations. Expectation leads to frustration. When you expect something, you don't get it, you get frustrated, you get angry also. It's both ways. But Lord, the real love is with Lord. Who is with you all the time? Krishna is there. He says, I am Suhrutam. I am your well-wisher. 5.29, he says, Suhrutam sarva-bhutanam. He is with us all the time. What he wants? He is a well-wisher. He wants only good for you. As a Supreme Father, what the Father will want? He will want us to come back to the real house. We are in this material world because we are envious of the Lord. So the real love it can happen by the bhakti process, by devotional service. A godly person is detached because he is attached to Krishna. Has a higher taste. When you are attached to Krishna, all this material pale things become distaste. Again, 2.59 of Bhagavad Gita, param drishtva nivartate. So, all this is temporary. Why you want to get attached? Get detached to it. And really get attached to your soul. Nourish the soul. Nourish the spirit soul. With spirituality. All our acharyas, including Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Kirtaniya Sadahari in Sishtastakam. Fill yourself with Krishna consciousness. What you will give is what you have. When we have only Krishna consciousness, what do you expect to give? We'll give only that. And the Lord wants nothing else except our love. You cannot force somebody to love you. It has to come by itself. This incident many may not know. This happened in Batli village. Now it's a town in Orissa. There was a girl of a farmer who was married. Her name was Satihari. She was so dedicated to Lord Jagannath. She had a deity of Jagannath. She used to worship him like anything. So dedicated, so loving and so much attached to Lord Jagannath. And we see that once there were guests in the house and she didn't have anything to feed them. When guests come, you have to feed the guests. She was wondering, what am I to give them? 3 of them came. She was wondering, what am I to give them? And then her father-in-law came in suddenly, all of a sudden. He said, I came to take a tool from the house and I have got rations. You can cook and give them. It's there. I have kept inside. She was so happy. Wow. And then she cooked and fed the guests. It's a mud house. She's poor. She fed the guests, and she also, those days, 1 paisa is something very valuable. So she gave 1 paisa each to the guests, and then they left. In the evening, the father-in-law and her husband came back. And there were so many preparations at home. They were wondering, how come? And she said, her father-in-law, you only came and you said you brought the rations. Her father-in-law said, I never came home. And he said, it's Krishna himself who came and gave you all that. I didn't give you anything. Her husband also didn't come, so it was given by the Lord. And her father-in-law was telling it's a Trinity. Lord Brahma, Vishnu and Lord Shiva came. And she told her father-in-law, usually married girls, they are blessed to remain suhahan, means always with the husband being alive. For a married girl, the husband being alive and she dying before is a blessing. But they blessed otherwise. They didn't bless her to be a suhahan. They blessed her that your name and fame will be spread and you will be known for a long time. And she told her father-in-law, I am wondering why they gave me that blessing. Well, usually it's not a blessing a woman receive. And after some time, the village was, suddenly there was fire. And it's a straw house, and the fire caught and the house was burning. Everybody was running out of the house. When she came out, she remembered her Jagannath is there inside. How she can leave her Jagannath there inside? She went running inside again. She covered the Lord and she came out. But by the time, the whole body got fire. And she just ran and fell into a pond nearby. She was just hugging the Lord inside her so that the Lord doesn't get affected. And the villagers, after they put off the fire and all that, they were removing everything, and they saw from the pond long hair in a sitting posture, burnt body is there, and the girl was holding Jagannath. Jagannath was there safe inside, and they understood that is Sati Hari who died, saving Lord Jagannath. That is her love for the Lord. How much love and affection. She gave up her life for the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj wanted to sit on the lap of his father and went to the Lord. You can see here Sati Hari holding Lord in her lap, Jagannath in her lap. No comparison, you cannot even think or envision her love. In Batli village, today, the family, they gave the house and everything to the local villagers they left. And there is a temple built. And there is Lord Jagannath with Sati Hari there in the temple even today in Batli village, in Orissa. The Lord says in 9.26, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya tadaham bhakti upaharatam. He wants only bhakti. He wants love and devotion. The Lord is not expecting anything. You can offer Him just leaf, flower, fruit, water. It's simple. What Lord expects is just love and devotion. And we can see the real example. There are many examples of people who are dedicated, who gave up everything for the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada himself is an example, isn't it? He just left everything, his house, his wife, his children. He just took sannyas to spread the mission of his spiritual master, which is the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord in Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Yare deke tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Whomsoever you meet, what you have to give? What instruction? About Krishna. So we see here the demons, they are attracted to the beauty. We see in the 6th canto the example of Ajamila. Ajamila went to the forest, but he got attracted to the prostitute. In the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 60, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Vishwamitra sage. If you are attracted to the real beauty of Radha and Krishna, then you will never fall down. In the same chapter, in 2nd chapter 61 verse, he gives example of Ambrish Maharaj. Was dedicated anything and everything for the Lord. Vishwamitra sage was doing tapasya for so many years. But when we saw Menaka Apsara, Indra wanted to disrupt his tapasya. He sent Menaka Apsara, who came out of the churning of the ocean. She is so beautiful. He got attracted. And Sakuntala was born. And then again he went to do tapasya for many years. That's different. But we see in the same purport, Srila Prabhupada also talks about Yamunacharya, who is dedicated to Krishna, who says, when I think of women, even the thought, I spit at the thought. So that's the dedication of a godly person. They are not attracted to this temporary beauty. The beauty of the Lord is so nice. There are so many examples where the acharyas, when one is being attracted to the materialistic beauty, bring them to the Lord and show them the real beauty. Annamacharya is one of the Vaishnava Acharya. He was attracted to his wives. But the Lord himself came and showed him his beauty, and from then on, Annamacharya got attracted to the Supreme Lord, Balaji, and he just gave up everything. There are so many kirtanas of Annamacharya. Even today, if you go to Tirupati, they sing the kirtanas of Annamacharya. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, Avadhuta Brahmana is explaining about 24 gurus to King Yadu. In the 8th chapter, he is talking about, in the kingdom of Videha, about a prostitute called Pingala. Pingala, in the evening, was standing in the doorstep and waiting for a wealthy man. She is just not only attracted for money, she is attracted even for the body as a prostitute. She was having both attractions. As she was waiting and waiting, she was thinking somebody will come and I'll get a lot of money and also I'll get satisfied. But night passed and she got frustrated. Nothing happened, nobody came. And she was blessed that she got detached for a moment. In that detachment, she was thinking, hey, come on, in this kingdom of Videha, how foolish I am. I am thinking of somebody and waiting, but the Lord is there with me all the time as Paramatma within me. He is there. I didn't even think of him. In 11.8.30 verse, we can see she's feeling morose. Hey, what a fool I am. She got detached. She got that vairagya, renunciation. That's a blessing. Just like that, you don't get it. The soul gets attracted and just goes in the birth, death cycle, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi cycle for millions of years. To come out is not that easy. Either by sadhana or by kripa, you get it. By mercy of acharyas and the Lord, you get it. The Lord says also, in Bhagavatam also you have. And even in Bhagavad Gita 10.10 we see the Lord gives buddhi. Detachment also is given by the Lord. 1.2.7 we see. Of Bhagavatam says that. The Lord gives detachment, the Lord gives knowledge. So Pingala is considered as one of the 24 gurus by the Avadhut Brahmana. Living example is Chintamani, who became guru of Bilumangal Thakur. That's living example. In his book Krishna Karnamrita, you can see Shri Bilumangal Thakur is mentioning Chintamani as his guru. Chintamani was prostitute. Bilumangal Thakur was attracted to the prostitute. His father died, and that night, after finishing the rites, it's heavily raining. How to cross? There is a river to cross. He was just holding something and then crossing. It was a dead body. And she closed the door because who is going to come in the middle of the night when it is raining? And the door is closed. Something was hanging like a rope. And Bilumangal Thakur just caught it and then went inside and knocked the door. Chintamani came out and said, how come you came? And then he was showing, there is a rope, and it was actually a snake, big snake. And then he was showing the dead body. And then Chintamani said, if you would have just given your affection towards the Supreme instead of me, where you would be. And that moment, Bilumangal Thakur realized how foolish he is, how ignorant he is. For a woman, he is attracted, temporary attraction. What is that going to give you? So, all of us, we have to give up this temporary attraction towards the body. We have to get renounced to this material attachments. By getting attached towards Krishna, Sri Prabhupada has given best sadhana process. What to do from morning to night he has given. Just follow what our Acharya has given us. We will surely be back home, back to God. I keep telling this in all my sessions. Srila Prabhupada says, I am the key to the back door. You can't go to the front door, don't worry. I am the key to the back door. We have to just follow, that's it. Follow Guru's instruction. When you follow your Guru's instruction, Srila Prabhupada is the Param Guru for all of us. We are following Srila Prabhupada's vision and mission. And our life back home, back to Godhead is assured this lifetime. Have that faith that this is my last life. I am having that faith. Do you? I request to have that faith on the words of the Acharya, that however I am, my Guru and my Param Guru will take me back home, back to Godhead. My Guru Maharaj very clearly declares why I should be Guru if I can't take you back home, back to Godhead. What we have to do as disciples, we have to just follow. That's it. Simple. Simple instruction. No complications. Life is very simple. We have to just follow. That's it. And we will be with the eternal service of Srimati Radha and Shri Krishna always. Just by following we become godly and we'll never be demoniac. As there is no other alternative other than chanting and using this process of understanding God. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Kevala Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatir Anyata. There is no other alternative. In this age of hypocrisy and quarrel, Brihanaradiya Purana says, we have this quotation even in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya, that chanting the names of Lord Hari in this age of Kali is the only refuge for all of us. And this is golden. We are in golden age now, where just by following we'll go back home, back to Godhead. Where Srila Prabhupada is living in his books, Prabhupada declared himself that I am living in my books. So we are in that time period, so that's why this golden period we have to utilize and go back home, back to Godhead. So that's the vision and mission of our Acharya, and that's my kind request. Are there any questions or comments based on today's session? Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
There is an element of care, caring for oneself, and you give a formula for that, just Hare Nam, and caring for others, which is the assurance that one can go back to Godhead by following the principles. So I am very, very blessed by going through this class.
Thank you for your comment.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Pranams.
Pranams.
Mataji, relation to this purport, there was one verse in Chanakya Niti which said that same thing appears differently to different people. For a saintly person, it appears as a corpse, a dead body. For a sensual person, it appears as a woman, and for a dog, it appears as a flesh. So my confusion is that, Mataji, if a godly person is lacking the attraction for opposite gender, then how will he or she procreate? And if they are procreating and there is no attraction, their mind will be thinking that what am I engaged in nonsense activity. So how will that consciousness affect the progeny?
It doesn't affect the progeny at all, because you can see Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada also says, marriage is to beget Krishna conscious children. And also in the 5th canto, 5th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Rishabhadev's teachings, one cannot be a father or mother. Guru na shishyat. You can't be a guru if you can't deliver your disciples. You can't be a mother or father if you can't deliver your children. You can't be a king if you can't deliver your subjects. So you have a duty to perform there, where you cannot become a father or mother without delivering your children. How can you deliver? Only when you are God conscious. And we have the Garbhadan samskar within us, where there also you are totally Krishna conscious. It's not that there is no progeny. There is progeny, but it's Krishna conscious progeny, God conscious progeny, where the husband and wife, they're totally God conscious to beget Krishna conscious children. Even 1% is God conscious, Srila Prabhupada says, then they can change the whole world. Because 99% is Naradhamas, 7.14 and 15. You can see who surrender and who don't surrender to the Lord. So you need, for that matter, Krishna consciousness is above the 3 modes, Sattva, Rajo and Tamo. It's above the 3 modes. They are in Suddha Sattva. They are in pure goodness. But still, you can see, even within ISKCON, in our movement, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we can see that there are Brahmanas who teach, preach, and who guide and spread the mission. There are our governing body commission, GBC, who takes care of the entire temple administration and whatnot in the mode of Kshatriyas. There are people who, here itself, there are people who have lot of shops they take care of. Even cow care is taken care of. That comes in Vaishyas. There are people who serve all the 3 cadres, all the 3 varnas. There are devotees who are serving also. They are in all varnas. Devotees are in all varnas, they are doing it. So it doesn't mean that there is no varnashrama system being followed. The Daiva varnashrama system is being followed. And the devotees do that, though they are above the 3 modes. A Vaishnava is above a Brahmana. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur declares very clearly. A Kanishta Adhikari, first level, there are 3 levels of devotees, again, is in the level of Brahmana. And you don't want to stay there, you want to come up, right? So everybody is advised to become a pure Vaishnava by Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. He gave nectar of instruction, Upadeshamrita, he gave nectar of devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, so that anybody can become a Vaishnava. So it doesn't mean that we don't do it. There is creation, progeny happening. If you, because it depends, again, not everybody are in brahmacharya. People who are attracted, they go into grihastha-ashrama, they go into vanaprastha-ashrama, and then they go into sannyasa-ashrama. Because I am a grihastha, it doesn't mean that I cannot become a sannyasi. Sri Prabhupada in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita again says, I am explaining all this because see, we have a misinterpretation sometimes that we cannot be this. It is just not the garb, not the dress that decides. It is the purification of heart. A sannyasi is one who is renounced completely. Women are not allowed to wear the garb of a sannyasi. That doesn't mean that there are no women sannyasis. I can give so many examples in our movement who have given up when they were young. Sri Prabhupada asked their disciple, your husband wants to become sannyasi. I'll give you an example of Lakshmi Mani Mataji. She wore white because see, it's equal to the husband dying. When husband gets sannyas, you wear a widow dress. You can see Lakshmi Mani Mataji with widow dress. She had 3 children, young children, that time. There are so many disciples of Sri Prabhupada. When they were young, they accepted it. They went for it. Aren't they following the system? Does that answer your question? I just gave many answers to one question. Because there are many misinterpretations that you cannot be this, you cannot be that. Why not? Sri Prabhupada himself clarifies it very clearly. Women don't wear. Doesn't mean that there are grihasthas who are sannyasis. In Mayapur you can see living examples. I've seen many myself. They are grihasthas, husband and wife, but they are totally detached. Because they are not wearing the robe of a sannyasi doesn't mean they are not sannyasis. They are. They are already living their lives like that. Completely renounced. Srila Prabhupada is so proud of his disciples. As such. Thank you for your wonderful question, Prabhu. Any other questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you
Krishna.
for the class. I wanted to add something that I guess this is as we progress in Krishna consciousness, it becomes a little more clear. But this idea of being detached and from, especially like affection, women, things like this. It's a very fine point because becoming Krishna conscious doesn't mean you don't have affection for anyone. I only like Krishna. I don't like anybody else. If I like anybody else, then I must not like Krishna. No, we like in a Krishna conscious way, whereas the demons like in a different way. So someone asked Prabhupada once too, when he was speaking about a similar point, and the question was asked, why did Yudhisthira lament when all sons were dying on the battlefield if he's a pure devotee? He said his lamentation and your lamentation are not the same thing. So you can have affection, but it's like Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. You don't think they have affection? They do, but it's different. So I don't know how it's hard to, you can't explain it. You have to realize it, I guess. It's not like something you can just label and So, and there's no hindrances like you mentioned also in the class. So when a person has some attraction, they get married, now they work together for Krishna, and they become, look at the great service these householders did in the beginning of this movement. Compared to, like, criticizing, but say big sannyasis, Gaudiya Math couldn't accomplish anything in London. And here's some hippie woman with a baby. Look what they did. They didn't even read Bhagavad Gita yet. So, in the beginning, I guess, we have to be a little more black and white, but Krishna consciousness is mostly gray. That's my point. Anyway, thank you for your class.
Thank you for your wonderful comment, Prabhu. Thank you. And thanks to everybody for attending this session. Srimad Bhagavatam Granth Raj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Antakodi Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitya Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.